Hi everyone, hopefully very quick video giving you a few examples of different post formats that you can use for your campaign posts. So as soon as you've got your candidates, as soon as you've decided who's playing the candidate, who's playing the different team members, get posting immediately. So here's the first example. This is basically a simple campaign diary post. In other words, the candidate or a member of the team writes about what happened when they visited a certain place. Now, this isn't a great one. It's my Shamrock Party candidate, my Heart Party candidate, Aidan Equi, one of our team members, DJ Johnson, more of a self-promoter than a great campaign worker. But you see the format there. It's maybe a picture, boom, boom, boom. This is where I visited. This is what I did. Now, if you're the candidate, you can write, okay, this is what I did, blah, blah, blah. I met the different people. If you're a team member, ignore DJ Johnson for a minute. If you're a team member, you can also be writing about, okay, I visited such and such a place with our candidate, and you can actually big up your candidate. Because this is Ireland. It's not America where you've got Donald Trump, where he's bigging up himself. You do that in the Irish elections, and a candidate boasts about how great they are in Irish elections. It doesn't work. However, the team members can boast about the candidate on their behalf. So team members can be sometimes more effective campaigners than the candidate themselves in Irish elections. So that's the campaign diary post. That's one example there. This is another example of a campaign diary post, but it's written in a play format. So you can mess around, have some fun, be imaginative, be creative with the way you do it. So this is a one-act play post where it's again what's happening on the campaign, but you're doing it as a play. The next one then is two examples of a speech, campaign speech. So it's the candidate making a speech in a certain town or village in a specific county, or a member of the campaign team making a speech on behalf of their candidate. And here's another example of the campaign speech format. So you come in and you make your speech. Now, this is my Shamrock Party candidate, Tom Whitmore. I wouldn't go down the route Tom goes here. He's a bit too boasty for an Irish election. But anyway, I leave it up to the Shamrocks to deal with Tom Whitmore. Now, local media posts. You can do a newspaper article. If you're going to do a newspaper article, you need to do the background research. So if you check the other video I did giving you advice on how to approach campaign posts, how to work through this task, you'll see I give advice on finding out information about the county that you're campaigning in. So if you're going to Leitrim, do the background research, find out what the local newspaper is in Leitrim. Oh, I've given the away. Do the same for Louth as well. So don't make up a newspaper title. That looks sloppy. That looks as if you can't be bothered to do the research. Find out what the actual newspaper is. Maybe try and copy the header for the newspaper or a picture of the newspaper and write it as a newspaper article. Now, when you're writing a newspaper article, remember this is meant to be written by someone who's not a member of your team. So when you write a newspaper article, you can try and get a few little boasty elements in it, but a newspaper journalist, a journalist for a local newspaper, is not going to come in writing about how totally great your candidate is. So you'll write certain things. So try and write it the way you would expect a local newspaper journalist to write it. Don't have it being, oh, such and such a person, the best. Wow, they're so great. They're so great. A journalist won't do that. Maybe in the second half of the election, when I talk about, say, certain newspapers endorsing your candidate, maybe that'll happen. But you won't have a local newspaper going on about how great a candidate is. So try and be a bit more, if you're doing a post where it's a local newspaper post, and the same for a local radio interview, try and do this in a way that it sounds more authentic. It sounds like it's written by someone who's neutral in this contest. Now, here's an example of a local radio post, a post based on basically an interview being held between a local radio station, and the candidate, or in this case, the candidate and a member of his team. Now, I've gone OTT here on making this, just showing here how someone on a local radio station should not be coming out backing your candidate. So in this example, one of the guys in this local radio station just goes hell for leather attacking my candidate here. It's in the Shamrock Post. Again, I've done the background research. I found out what the local radio station in Louth is. I found out what shows are on LM FM radio, which is the local radio station in Louth, and I based this post around a fictitious interview between these local radio journalists and my candidate members of my candidate team. But as you see here, it's not a case of the journalists on the radio station coming out and saying, "Oh, you're a great person, you're wonderful. Oh, I hear what you're saying, it's great." They don't do that on local radio, guys. They don't do that on local radio. In this case, Chris, which is just absolutely hates my candidate. And he comes out, goes hell for leather attacking all the ideas. So it's okay to actually say, look, to do a radio interview, but have the local radio journalists be a bit skeptical about your candidates and just show, look, I got all these awkward questions on local radio, and my candidate or the member of our candidate team actually handled themselves very well and explained our ideas, our policies in the face of fairly hostile questioning. It's not going to be a case you have an interview with a local radio, someone on local radio, and they come out and say, "Oh, you're great, you're wonderful. I really hope you win this election." They're not going to do it, guys. They're not going to do it. You can have a press conference. So here's an example of a press conference. Again, I've done this in this case as in the format of a one-act play. So that's another thing you can do with your posts. Last of all, social media posts. Now, I would say if you're doing the social media posts, try to limit them. Maybe do one or two of them. The problem with design your own tweet post or design your own X post or design your own Instagram post is they're going to be very short. So if all you do is 4 X posts or Twitter posts a week, there's going to be very little content there. So the social media posts, just kind of get a bit of variety, try and do a few different things. Maybe do one of these a week or one of these every 2 weeks. But if you're only doing social media posts, if you're only doing Twitter posts or X posts, and that's all you're doing, then you're not going to get into any depth in your campaign posts, and you're going to get low marks for these posts. So the social media posts, there's an example there of a very short Twitter X post. Here's a slightly longer social media post. I actually haven't used a design your own Facebook format for this, but you can see how this could be a Facebook post or an Instagram post. Social media posts, they're okay. Try to limit the use of them, because if that's all you're doing, you're not going to get a lot of marks, because the posts are, by definition, they're going to be very short. The main thing is when you're designing your own, if you're doing a design your own Twitter or X post, or design your own Instagram post, or design your own Facebook posts, obviously the posts themselves, there's probably going to be some element of AI used in the formatting of the posts. That's okay. But what's in the posts, what's written in the posts, has to be your own work. So make sure, and this goes for everything you do in this campaign forum task, make sure everything you do is your own work. There should be no AI used to draw up your posts, the content of your posts. You might end up using elements of AI if you're doing making up Twitter or X posts, making up Facebook posts, but the content in those posts has to be your own work, your own ideas. You can get inspiration, you can get ideas from other places, but what you write there, it's got to be your own work. Otherwise, what the hell? What's the point of doing this task? What's the point of doing university if everything you do is done by a computer for you? Like, let's give the computer the degree. So everything should be your own work. I will be testing. If I start to suspect some posts could involve some form of plagiarism or AI generation, I will test those posts. And if I find that's the case, Obviously, 0 marks straight away from those posts, no appeals, no questions. But if I find this has been done constantly, I'll just give a 0% for the entire bloody election task for that person. So that moves me on to the last slide. Don't do this. So definitely don't use AI to generate your posts. I can live with you using AI to generate a picture of your candidate. That's okay. A picture of a candidate. You say, okay, there's different ways you can do a picture of your candidate. You can base your candidate on a real life politician or real life personality and use their pictures in your posts, or you can generate a picture of that candidate yourself. I'm okay with you using AI to generate a picture. I'm not okay with you using AI to generate the content of your posts, the written content. That has to be your own work. What's the point in you doing this task otherwise, if you're just going to use basically a computer to do the work for you? What's the point in me grading that work? Because I'm not going to give marks to a computer. I'm not going to give marks for work that a computer does. So no use of AI. Just don't even think of it. Plagiarism. Don't cut and paste work ideas from a website and pass them off as your own. So you might see you might be doing some background research, you see a very good speech. What you shouldn't do with that speech is you just cut chunks out of that speech and post it in your own post, because I will eventually find out, hang on, this isn't your own speech, this is a speech. It's easy enough for me to do that. I just do a web search or a Turnitin search, boom, 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 you'll be found out. And if I find you're doing that constantly, again, it's as bad as using AI. If you see a good speech, get the ideas from the speech, put them in your own words. The main thing here is everything is in your own words. And when I say everything's in your own words, I don't expect, this is not meant to be written academically. You're doing a campaign forum, a campaign post. Good politicians don't speak academically. They speak the way ordinary people speak. So, I'm not going to be worried about academic speech. I don't want academic speech here. So you don't need to make your writing more academic. You've got to make your writing more authentic. Make it sound like it's something that a real person is saying, not a bloody AI package or a computer. So write in your own words. If there's a few spelling mistakes, I'm not going to cry over that. People make spelling mistakes. That's why I can say, look, it's your job. It's your job. Just do the post. If there's a few spelling mistakes, I'll get over it. You will probably make a few mistakes in this. Don't worry about this. It's about, if you do 12 good posts and one post where you make a mistake in it, it's much better than someone who does 6 good posts. If you get what I mean. So, yeah, don't worry about academic writing. Write authentically, write clearly, write the way that a real life person would speak on a campaign trail. Other things not to do, the one thing I'd say not to do is, first of all, one thing not to do is wait too long to start on the campaign forum, because the best time to actually do the work is in the last few weeks of February, when there's not that much happening with other modules. So first, people who might be worried say, well, this forum task runs to the end of March and I'm going to be very busy in the end of March. Well, try and do a lot of the work now when things aren't busy. So hit the ground running. Another thing not to do, I think that's a good few points for now. So there's some advice. Definitely make use of my office hours if you've got queries, you've got concerns. But last thing I would say, as soon as you can, get your team sorted and start posting on the election campaign forum, because if you don't post, you can't get marks, guys. If you don't post in the first few days, your candidate team's probably not going to win the primary election. You know what? It's not the end of the world, but you know what? Why not give it a shot? Why not give it a try? Why not try to win the primary election? It's there to be won at the moment. Anyway, good luck on the election campaign. So yes, good luck to everyone on the campaign. Again, if you've got queries, if you've got issues, don't wait around until the end of March and just say, oh, sorry, I can't do this. I don't understand what's happening. It's too late then. So if you've got queries, issues, if you've got questions, ask them to me. Ask me those questions as soon as you can. I have office hours every Monday, every Wednesday. Make use of those office hours. Make use of the resources I have, including this particular video. Make use of the resources that are up on the Moodle page. Don't end up doing work. Sorry, don't definitely do work. Don't end up not doing work and offering a whole pile of excuses why you don't do it. That won't wash. There's plenty of options to get help. There's plenty of options to get ideas on the Moodle page. There's my office hours. You can talk to me before the Monday lecture. I'm usually around for 20 or 30 minutes before the start of the 10 o'clock lecture on the Monday. You can check in with me after the Wednesday lecture. So there's chances to talk with me, but definitely make use of office hours.